Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we'll start the class of unit 1, and as I told you, if you have any doubts you should have made it ready in the nomenclature of organic compounds, the unit 1. Okay, and keep your pen and paper near you, or your running class notes, whatever you had when we had the unit 1 class. Okay, so keep things ready, because see, we are learning structures, right? So you will have to practice by writing also. So I'll be sharing the screen now. Yeah. Okay, so can you see, all of you, can you see the screen? So we are
Yes, ma'am.
starting with the naming of organic compounds, and the first compound we will learn is alkanes. Okay, so alkanes are very simple ones, and we have learned them already. They are hydrocarbons. The smallest one is CH4, and this is called as methane. The structure, we have discussed the structure of the sp3 carbon, that is tetrahedral structure, right? So alkanes form a homologous series. Homologous series means the some compounds belonging to the same uh, functional group but differ in specific number of certain kind of atoms. Okay, so these are the next alkanes, ethane and propane with their formula. So students, you have any doubts in alkanes, you can ask me. Simply we need not repeat. If you know all these things already, we can save some time for the difficult topics. Do you have any doubts in alkanes nomenclature, or what are alkanes? Yes, tell me. Anything doubt you have? Now you see the next one, next slide. Alkyl groups are used more for naming organic compounds. They have the general formula of CnH2n plus 2, sorry, H2n plus 1, because they're alkyl, not alkanes. And if you want to name any alkyl group, this is how we name. For example, CH3 is methyl, CH3, CH2 is ethyl. And the alkyl groups are generally fragments of alkanes only, and they are represented by the formula R, like methyl, ethyl, propyl. So we replace the ane suffix with "-ile". So that is alkyl groups, because whenever some side chains are attached to the organic chain, the most common substituent group is alkyl group. So we should have a clear idea about what is alkyl group. So these are some of the alkyl groups, like CH3 is methyl, CH3CH2 is ethyl, CH3CH2CH2 is propyl, butyl, pentyl, hexyl, like that. And whenever there are some branches like this, so there are some branches like this, these are called isopropyl, isobutyl, secondary butyl. So this is important. What is the difference between isobutyl group and secondary butyl group? Isobutyl group substitution is on the second carbon, and secondary butyl group, the substituted carbon is having a substituent. So this is what is secondary butyl. You understand? So this carbon is bonded to another carbon chain, and that carbon is having a substituent. So this is what it means. And this is a tertiary butyl group. This carbon is tertiary, you can see, and in this case this carbon is secondary. It is attached to two carbons. Okay. Now you see the IUPAC rules of the alkanes. Rule number 1 is select the longest continuous chain of carbon atoms as the parent compound. Consider all alkyl groups attached are branched. So if the equal length of carbon is found, then chain that is having more number of substituents, we should consider that. The alkane's name consists of the parent compound prefixed by the names of alkyl groups attached to it. So alkane we should write as the parent and prefixed by the names of the alkyl groups attached to it. Now for example, you see here, so this chain is having 6 carbon atoms. It is having 6 carbon atoms, the parent chain, longest continuous chain. And in this case, you see, if you want to number in this way, it is having only 4. Or if you number in this way also, it is having only 5, right? So we have to say that the parent is the one which is having the longest continuous chain. So that's why we have to select this as the longest chain, because there is no other option where we can have the long chain. So it is attached to one methyl group. It is having a methyl group here. And this is a branched chain which is having a hydrogen, replaced a hydrogen in the parent compound. So what is a substituent? Substituent is a branch chain where one of the hydrogen on this carbon is replaced by some group, or in this case methyl group. So such groups which are replacing one of the hydrogen on the carbon are called as substituent groups. Name of this compound, I think you already might have guessed it. It is 3-methyl hexane, and the numbering is always in such a way that the substituted carbon has the lowest possible number. That's what we will see now. Rule number 2, the number of carbons in the parent chain carbon starting from the end closest to the first carbon that has alkyl groups. Don't worry much about the wordings here. It is just that the numbering should be done in such a way that the carbon having the alkyl group should be closest to the first carbon atom. Okay. If the first substituent from each end is same number, suppose both sides it is same, then go to the next substituent to determine from where we should start the numbering. For example, you see here, just a minute. You please name this compound on your own. Since I have told you this is isopropyl group, you please start naming this compound. So what is this? Did you name it? Did you name it? So is the numbering correct? Is this way of numbering correct?
No, ma'am.
No. Yes. So we have to number from the other side so that we get the lower number for the substituted carbon. So what is the name of the compound here? You have already written, I guess. 4-isopropyl. Okay.
Octane.
So we are using the right to left numbering so that isopropyl group gets the lowest numbered carbon. I hope all this is already clear for you, I'm sure. Now we'll see the rule number 3. Here each alkyl group has its position on the parent carbon by the number 2 methyl, means the group is attached to number 2. Suppose we have whatever number of alkyl groups or substituent groups, they have to be prefixed by the number on the parent carbon, so which tells us where these substituents are attached. Now, can you name this compound? You just see and tell me the name, or you can write down and tell me the name. These are examples. What compound is this? So what substituent is attached? Which substituent is attached?
Isopropyl.
Isopropyl is attached, right? This is isopropyl from the previous example we have seen. And where is it attached? On which carbon?
Pentane. Second carbon.
Second carbon, because we have to start numbering from the carbon which is nearest to the first, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is 2 isopropyl.
Pentane.
Yes, this is the numbering, and this is 2 isopropyl pentane. Okay. Now we see the rule number 4. The same number of alkyl groups are appearing for more than once, then we need to repeat by the prefix di, tri, tetra, and so forth. Okay, in front of the alkyl group. For example, dimethyl indicates 2 methyl groups. Yes, 1 minute. Meghana is saying that we will not be getting long chain. For the previous one, I think Meghana is talking about the previous chain. Let me see.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not the longest chain. Did you check it?
No, ma'am. It won't come. For if we may get hexane also, no, ma'am. Instead of pentane. 2, 3.
1 minute, 1 minute. I'm not able to go back. Just a minute. Three, four, five, six, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which one you are talking about? So, instead of pentane, you are saying?
Ma'am, second example.
Isopropyl, yeah. The isopropyl one.
Second example of isopropyl.
Yeah. I am seeing that. So instead of 2 isopropyl pentane, you are saying that we can also get 2, 3 dimethyl
3 dimethyl hexane.
Yes, that is correct. But mostly whenever the isopropyl group comes, okay, we'll be considering isopropyl as a substituent. Okay, and again isopropyl, whenever we say it's a common nomenclature, it is not IUPAC. So even if you write the according to IUPAC, 2,3 dimethyl hexane is correct. If it is a common name, 2 isopropyl pentane is also correct, because there are chemicals which are more commonly available with isopropyl group as substituent rather than the dimethyl groups. So yes, you can write it as 2,3 dimethyl hexane. Okay, you can write 2 isopropyl pentane, and in the bracket you can write the other one.
Yes, ma'am.
Could you see the share screen? No. Oh. Just a minute. Okay. So the about more number of substituent of the same category. So can you write the name of this compound?
Ma'am, we cannot able to see, ma'am.
Screen is not.
Oh, is it? What happened? But I've shared the screen. Now can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm? Okay. So this is what we were discussing, right? Okay. Can you write the name of this compound? Select the longest chain, number it, and since there are two methyl groups,
2,3 dimethyl pentane, ma'am.
yes, that is 2,3 dimethyl pentane. So how many number of methyl groups are there? You have to prefix them with the number and follow it by dimethyl pentane. This is a simple one. And rule number 5 is if there are different alkyl groups attached to the parent compound, list them in the alphabetical order. That means ethyl comes before methyl, okay, and prefixes like di, tri and all will not be included in the alphabetical order. Let me suppose it is dimethyl. You cannot say that D comes first, so I will write dimethyl first. No, we should see only the substituent groups first name and alphabet and not the prefixes like di, tri. Now you see here. So this is the longest carbon chain. So here you see the 8-member group is there. Numbering is done such a way that the substituents get the lowest number. There are two groups, ethyl and methyl. So we name it as 3-ethyl, 4-methyl octane. Okay, suppose they are having some different substituents. For example, nitro group, bromine group. Even then, see that the numbering should not be involved with the alphabetical order. The numbering should be always substituents. All the substituents should get the lowest number. Okay, and that's why it is 3-bromo, 2-nitro-pentane. And these are the different substituent examples. If they are present, how we are supposed to name them. So you can see here the NH2, if it is present as a substituent, we can call it as amino. F for fluoro, chloro, bromo, iodo, nitro, and vinyl. So CH double bond CH2 is called as vinyl. So this is in short all the rules of the nomenclature when we are naming the saturated hydrocarbons. Saturated hydrocarbons are nothing but alkanes and cycloalkanes. Okay. So first rule is choose the longest continuous chain of carbon atoms that gives the basic name or stem, or we can also call it as parent. Name each number each carbon atom starting at the end that gives the lowest number to the first group attached, or number in such a way that the substituent gets the lowest number. For each substituent on the chain, we indicate the position of the chain. The position of the substituent is indicated by the lowest number possible. The number precedes the name of the substituent. That means the Arabic numbering we are doing. Arabic numbering is nothing but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever we are following is called Arabic numbering, and precedes the substituent. That means the number will come first and then the name of the substituent. When there are two or more substituents of a given kind, use the prefixes to indicate the number of substituents. Suppose same substituent present many times, then prefix by saying di. If there are two substituents, 2 times tri. If the same substituent is for 3 times, tetra. 4 times, penta. 5 times. So if the same substituent is present many times, we should prefix in this manner. Fifth rule is that the combined substituent numbers and names serve as prefix for the basic hydrocarbon name. That means all the substituents with their numbers and names will be written as prefix for the basic hydrocarbon name. So this is the first one. Basic hydrocarbon name you will get here, basic name. And then you will prefix with the name of the substituent and the number at which they are present. And the last rule is separate the numbers from the numbers by commas. So if you want to write 2, 3, it will be 2, 3. Numbers from words by hyphens. So whenever you are writing a number and then followed by a word or word followed by a number, then you should separate it with a hyphen. And if you are writing two numbers, you should separate them with comma. So this is the last, the final essence of the naming. That is, you will write a prefix, what and where are the substituents. Then you will write the parent, how many numbers of carbons are present, which is the longest carbon chain. And then the suffix, what is the functional group. For example, 2,3-dimethyl. Suppose hex, 6 carbons. Ane, alkane. Right? So this is how. So suppose you are having like this a carbon chain, then you will write it as 2, 6, 2, 6 dimethyl. Okay. 5 ethyl octane. And then similarly, when you want to write 5, since E comes first, M comes next. So it will written as 5 ethyl to 6 dimethyl. Parent is oct, suffix is ane. So 5 ethyl to 6 dimethyl octane. So this is how we write it. But anyway, don't think this is a main structure. It has to be written along with hydrogens. But since to make it simplified and to show you that we are concentrating on where the branching is happening, where the substituent is present, hydrogens are not written here. But this kind of writing structure actually representing this name will be wrong. You have to write all the hydrogens so that you can complete the valency of the carbon. I hope naming of the alkanes is clear. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we will move further and see alkenes. Alkenes, there are unsaturated hydrocarbons. Different types of unsaturated hydrocarbons are alkenes, cycloalkenes, having CnH2n formula. Alkynes, cycloalkynes, having formula CnH2n-2, and aromatic hydrocarbons. So they are all unsaturated hydrocarbons. But among them, the first one or the simplest one is alkenes. So they have C double bond, C bond, have formula CnH2n. And these are the smallest alkenes. The first one is ethylene, also called ethene, and the next one is propene. So the carbons are sp2 hybridized carbons. These are sp2 hybridized carbons, and they have, we know very well, 2 s bonds and one single bond, that is sigma bond, and one pi bond. That's how the double bond is made up of. Now you see how we name the alkenes. Read it, go through. So these alkenes, as they are similar to the ones what we have seen in alkanes. So we have to commonly, if we want to name, we have to suffix with -ylene. So that's what we see. We have seen in the previous slide that it is ethylene. So sometimes the question comes, write the structure of ethylene. You should not think it is -yle, so it is triple bond. No, it is double bond. It's common way of naming. The IUPAC naming would be ethene, but common name is ethylene. So ethylene is used, and choose the longest chain which is having C double bond C. So if it is a diene, that means it is having 2 double bonds. Triene is having 3 double bonds, and it will be prefixed with the position at which these double bonds are present. So directly we will move to check how we can name them. Find the longest continuous carbon chain in which both the carbons of the double bond are involved, and then number in such a way that both the double bonded carbons get the lowest possible number, and change the longest chain with from ane to ene because it is alkene. So if it is 6 carbons, it is hexane, but since it is having double bond, it is hexene. And then number the chain in this manner, because in this manner only the double bonded carbons are getting the lowest number, 2 and 3. And then, as we have seen in the previous nomenclature, prefix all the substituents with their positions on the carbon chain to the parent alkene. So that's why we have a methyl at second carbon, another methyl at third carbon, another methyl at fifth carbon. So 3 methyl, so trimethyl, 3 is tri. And then positions where they are present, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5 trimethyl. And then very important, where is the double bond present? On the second and third carbon, but we write only the smaller number, so it is 2-hexene. We need not write 2,3-hexene, we have to write only 2-hexene. So this is the way we name the alkenes, where there is little change because of the double bond. Otherwise all other rules regulations are same as what we have seen in alkenes. So see some other examples. So this is the way of selecting the longest chain. This is not the way, because you see here the double bonded carbon is out of the chain, right? So we have to make sure that both the carbons involved in the double bond are present in the longest continuous carbon chain. So that's why, even though here it's a big 2 carbon substituent, we are keeping it as substituent, and we are not involving it in the longest continuous carbon chain. So it is 2 ethyl 1 heptene. We will go to the next one, that is naming of alkynes. Alkynes have triple bonds. Simplest alkyne is ethine or acetylene. So this is what you should remember. Ethylene is ethene, acetylene is ethine. Okay, so common name, these are common names. Ethylene is ethene, acetylene is ethine. So the previous one was alkene, this is alkyne. The general formula is CnH2n -2. So they have a triple bond where both these carbons are sp hybridized carbons, where they have 2 sigma bonds and 2 pi bonds. Actually, the 2 sigma bonds are one with the hydrogen, the other with the carbon. The triple bond is made up of 1 sigma bond and 2 pi bonds. So they are named same like alkenes, except that they will be suffixing "-ine" instead of "-ene". For example, 3-heptine, 2-octine. So what does this mean? At the third position, at the third carbon, there is a triple bond in a 7 carbon chain. Here 2-octine is at the second carbon, there is a triple bond in a 8 carbon chain. So this is how the naming of alkynes. Compounds with 2 triple bonds are named dienes. Those with 3 are named trienes, and so forth. So this is how we name it. So whenever you see such kind of structures, you should know that there is a carbon here, there is a carbon here, right? So how do you, can you write this structure in your book with the regular denoting carbons and check whether this name is correct? Okay. So please do that. Write this structure 2,5-dimethyl-3-heptine in a regular manner. Regular means in this manner. And check whether the name is correct. So here also you can see this is also a cyclohexane. This is cyclohexane having a triple bonded substituent. This is what you call ethinyl. Ethinyl. So this is ethyne. Yl because it's a substituent to the cyclohexane. And this is diene because it is having 2 triple bonds. So 1,3-hexa diene. This is having 1 double bond, 1 triple bond. So it is generally when we have 1 double and 1 triple, you call it as enenes. Okay, enenes. So this is 5-methyl. So there is a methyl group here. 5-methyl, 4-hexene, 1-ine. So this is the beauty of this. See, whenever we are having 1 double bond and 1 triple bond, we should give first preference to triple bond while numbering. But when we are naming, we should give first preference to double bond followed by triple bond. That's why I said these are called as enenes. So enenes means there is a double bond, there is a triple bond. Number in such a way that you get the more importance to triple bond than the substituent and then the double bond. So this is how we name enenes. That's what I was telling you, having the double bond and triple bond. Cycloalkanes. These are also a type of alkanes, but in cyclic structure. So this is how the cyclopentane looks like. This is cyclooctane. The cyclic structure, mom. So cyclic structure of hydrocarbons are called, these are cycloalkanes having formula CnH2n. So there is a small this thing here. This is not cyclopentane, it is cyclobutane. Cyclobutane this is. And this is not cyclooctane, this is cyclohexane. Okay, please make the necessary corrections if you are writing. This is cyclobutane, this is cyclohexane. The cycloalkanes have this carbon atoms which are joined to form a ring. So cycloalkanes, all carbons of this ring are saturated. So they are saturated hydrocarbons. Only thing is they are cyclic in nature. So this is how we name them. Cyclo, then parent, then suffix. So this is how it is, right? The numbering and naming. So methyl cyclopentane, 1-ethyl-3-methyl cyclohexane. Okay, so this is how we name it. You see this example, 5-cyclobutyl, 1-pentyne. So pentyne is given more preference than the substituent. So this is how we have seen now about alkanes, cycloalkanes, alkenes, and alkynes. We are running short of time. I'll be closing this meeting here, and maybe I'll see you tomorrow again at 10 o'clock with continuation of this topic. Keep your doubts and all intact and ask me first thing when I start the class tomorrow at 10. Thank you so much, students. See you then. Bye-bye.